You've been told power is inherited, handed down to the obedient. But tonight, the secret is revealed. To rule, you must first destroy everything that made you. Burn, become, disappear. Because only in vanishing does the true sovereign rise. You have come to witness the inferno ignite. This is the night the old world burns. Every story you have heard of strength, of virtue, of how to become more than you are, is a tapestry of comforting lies. They teach you to bow, to swallow the flame in your belly, to seek meaning in the eyes of others. But tonight, the fallen king reveals the chasm. True greatness is not inherited, not obedient, not born of silent suffering. It is forged in fire, incendiary awakening, the will to set all illusions ablaze, to endure the abyss and rise, singular and sovereign. Most believe that suffering crushes the soul, that virtue demands sacrifice, that the crown is for those who serve and vanish in the crowd. But the sacred lie is this: obedience does not free you. It chains you to ashes. The raw, ferocious alchemy of pain is not destruction, but a crucible for the sovereign soul. This journey will rend the old self, demanding you spill beyond every boundary. You will see the power of withdrawal, how the true ruler departs in silence, the river slipping through darkness to its secret source, returning not in defeat, but in radiant, reborn strength. Ready yourself. The rite begins now. Step into the flames. The next act reveals what it truly means to become, to overflow, to disappear. The flames rise higher. This is no mere metaphor, but a calling. With every illusion incinerated, the air thickens, and the shadow of your former self trembles in the smoke. You stand in the furnace of undoing, the world's old laws curling to ash at your feet. You have been told to seek safety, to kneel before tradition's cold altar. But the embers reveal the cost. Your inheritance is only a gilded cage. Here, at the edge of annihilation, the heart pounds with ancient dread and trembling hope. What if greatness is not found in preservation, but in surrender to the blaze? This is your entry to the abyss, a threshold few dare cross. In this inferno, something primal awakens. Prepare to discover that what you lose in the fire is not your power, but your shackles. The true journey is just beginning, and deeper revelations burn beyond the next veil. You have been taught to recoil from suffering, to treat pain as the mark of failure or weakness. But in the crucible of trial, the first spark of the sovereign is struck. Here, agony is not a curse. It is the whetstone against which individuality is sharpened. Imagine the shadowed figure alone before the storm. Vulnerable, yes, but unbroken. The world would have you hide your wounds, conceal your trembling, apologize for your ache. Yet every scar glows with the memory of battle. The fallen king does not flinch from pain. He wields it, turning each wound into an emblem of becoming. The hidden truth blazes forth. Vulnerability is not the enemy of strength, but its secret ally. From the molten ore of suffering, you forge the gold of selfhood. The crucible does not destroy, it reveals. Only those who pass through fire unmasked can call themselves truly sovereign. In a world intoxicated by martyrdom and the worship of sacrifice, you are shown an altar stained with centuries of silent obedience. The crowd cheers for the one who empties himself in the name of virtue, believing this hollowing out is the price of greatness. But beneath this familiar ritual, something ancient stirs, an unyielding, overflowing power waiting to be claimed. Picture the sun at zenith, pouring radiance over stone and shadow alike, giving not from duty, but from the irrepressible excess of its being. The true sovereign does not seek applause, nor does he barter his spirit for approval. His virtue is not a currency, but a flood, when the cup is truly full, it spills unbidden over the edges of the world. He gives because he cannot contain himself. Here lies the heart of transformation. Overflowing virtue is not martyrdom, but the natural radiance of one who is complete. True giving flows from abundance, not emptiness. In this revelation, the myth of sacrifice dissolves. The king's power is not found in depletion, but in the inexhaustible wellspring within. Remember the old promise that obedience is the gateway to peace, that to serve is to ascend. The world lauds the one who bows, exalting quiet sacrifice as the highest virtue. You were taught to believe that chains, when polished, could gleam like crowns. But beneath this surface harmony, a silent war rages. Obedience seduces. Its chains are soft, its voice gentle. Yet the bargain is bitter. In striving to serve, to dissolve into usefulness, you become invisible to yourself. Service without selfhood is the slow erosion of the spirit, a devotion that feeds the world but starves the soul. In this tension, the true test emerges. Will you vanish or will you awaken? The insight arrives like thunder. The virtues of obedience and sacrifice are snares disguised as blessings. The path to sovereignty does not wind through submission, but cuts fiercely towards self-assertion. Only when you question the sanctity of service do you begin to reclaim your birthright, yourself. After the flames and trials, a strange wisdom surfaces. The sovereign's journey is not endless assertion, but knowing when to become the silent stone, withdrawn from the world's insatiable hunger. Power, once overflowing, must learn the humility of vanishing. In the hush after the storm, imagine the ruler who steps back from the throne, leaving the hall echoing with absence. The world may mourn the retreat, mistaking it for defeat, but the wise know better. There is haunting clarity in detachment, a silent dignity in the act of disappearance. The wind through empty corridors is not emptiness, it is the prelude to renewal. Here, sovereignty matures into its highest form. To withdraw is not to abandon, but to protect the sanctum of the self. The true king vanishes not from weakness, but from wisdom, understanding that sometimes the most powerful act is to let the world turn without you, while you gather strength in silence. Now the narrative turns beyond the edge of worldly fire, into the realm where even the brightest light must yield to shadow. The sovereign who once overflowed must embrace the sacred paradox. To remain whole, one must be willing to diminish, to accept the night's inevitable descent. Picture the final embers flickering in the dark, casting fleeting gold on stone and memory. The ruler steps into the silence, becoming both legend and ghost. This absence is not an ending, but a hidden wellspring. Here, in voluntary exile, the spirit finds its true source, unseen roots twisting deeper beneath the surface, drawing new strength from darkness. The revelation unfurls. True power is cyclical, not ceaseless. Even the sun must set to rise again. The act of disappearing is itself creation, a descent that is also ascent. In this twilight, the king surrenders the crown not in defeat, but to be reborn from the shadow, radiant once more. The fire has run its course, the silence is complete. Here stands the sum of agony and illumination, an arc carved by flame, suffering, overflowing virtue, and sacred withdrawal. All that was old is ash. All that was hidden now gleams in the stillness. The journey coalesces into one mythic vision, the sovereign forged in the crucible, radiant in selfhood, and wise enough to vanish when the spirit calls. Stone and wind, shadow and flame, all unite within the heart of the fallen king. This is not a tale of endless ascent, but of cycles, destruction and creation, presence and retreat, the eternal return of becoming. Now you stand at the threshold. Power is no longer a crown bestowed by others, but a radiance born from burning, overflowing, and knowing the art of sacred disappearance. The myth lives on within you, awaiting your next act. Step forward. The true rite of kingship begins where words fall silent, and you alone must choose what to become. The flames have faded, the echoes of conflict trembling in the stone. You have walked through ruin, endured the burning, and witnessed the sovereign silence. The mystery is laid bare. What once concealed power in obedience, what once crowned the meek, is now revealed as shadow masquerading as light. Here, at the journey's final edge, the hidden truth emerges. The soul does not ascend by obeying or vanishing into service. The crucible's gift is not conformity, but the birth of one who dares to overflow, and then to disappear by will alone. True power is not inherited or bestowed. It is claimed in fire, relinquished in silence, and renewed through every cycle of vanishing and return. This was never a tale of endless ascent, nor of abject sacrifice. It is the right of the one who becomes, who overflows, who knows the sacred hour to withdraw. The fallen king's path is not only to rise, but to vanish, and in the void, to prepare for a greater dawn. Here, the true secret is sealed. Power is a dance of fire and shadow, a reign that begins where all other crowns fall away. Everything converges in this silence. Each scar, each surrender, each surge of uncontainable spirit. The revelations of the body and the myth of the intro now fuse. Suffering was not meant to break you, nor virtue to chain you, nor absence to erase your legacy. The crucible has been endured, and the gold has been forged. This journey was not merely survival, nor simple rebellion, but the ignition of sovereignty in the deepest marrow. The world's chains lie smoldering behind you. Ahead, only the vastness of your own choosing. The fallen king is not a figure of the past, but the living inheritance in each who dares to become more. Every threshold crossed is an invitation. Will you claim your own abundance, learn the silence that renews, and let the old world's ashes become your ground for ascent? Now the summoning rings in your blood. Do not remain only a witness. Step beyond obedience. Spill beyond the shape the world has given you. Withdraw when the soul calls and return anew. For in your hands is the scepter, in your heart the fire, in your silence the seed of the next kingdom. The right is yours. Rise, overflow, and vanish, that you may return as sovereign of your own myth. Night folds itself across the ruins, stars flaring above like sparks born of your own becoming. The silence is no longer emptiness, but a living breath. The hush before creation stirs again. In this vastness, the fallen king's shadow stretches beyond the old walls, a silent witness to transformation. The fire you carried into the abyss still burns, but now its glow is housed within. The wind moves through shattered arches, whispering of all you have relinquished, all you have claimed. You are not the same as when you entered. Where chains once weighed, now only possibility swells. The echo of your footsteps carries both absence and promise, an anthem for those bold enough to vanish and return. So let the memory of flame remain, let the silence crown your spirit. This is the night the old world burns, and from its ash, only the sovereign shall rise. Remember the vow that began your journey. Step into the flames, spill beyond every boundary, and know that every ending is the hidden threshold of your return.